Evening, people, evening. And just add Lee in, big up Lee. Gentlemen, Lee, thanks for the raid as always.
No worries, mate.
And we're going to we're going to just dissect it, I think, is the right way of telling what we're going to say. First of all, I've just got to say, big up Dan Potts. I watched that stream he did with Mark Goldbitch. What a clown that man is, Mark Goldbitch, not Dan. The way he took that guy apart, absolutely dissected him, was, I think, very done, very intelligent. And I don't know anybody else has watched it, but it was legend. Why? I don't know. That guy had a go at him when he's got absolute no credit. He's an absolute idiot in what he was saying. And, I mean, they didn't come for you, Lee, did they?
To be fair, it was before. Yeah, the live vocal minority of Arteta, yeah, just sitting there screaming and shouting into their cameras. Yeah, hey, listen, he's an idiot, but this is what he does. Yeah, it's what he does, and yeah, he can do whatever he wants, and people have got the right to reply on it. But this way, he done it with Big Steve as well, the Man City fan. Yeah, he was calling him out. Yeah, and he'd been messaging him to come on a preview. No, the geezer's not wired up right, mate. No, maybe he's got something wrong with him. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something not quite clicking there in the old tick box. Anyway, let's move on. Shane, how you doing, my friend?
All good, man. All good. First off, thanks so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure to come onto your channel. It's a big moment for me in this sort of YouTube journey, if you want to call it that. And yeah, fully agree with what you said about Dan. I thought his video was leveled. It was intelligent. It was, well thought out, and it was passionate as well, without ever sort of getting carried away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to dissecting this mess that we call our club, and getting into it with a panel of absolute legends. A big up to Kenny and Lee and Arron, of course, and yourself and all the chat. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, top man. Arron, always. Thanks for joining, mate. Kenny as well, and Lee, of course, absolute real one.
Just want to say something really quick. It's not, and it's going to be quick because I'm going to do it once. And if you do it once, you've got to do it right. It's easy to have a go at someone whose opinion you don't agree with, but please don't fool the fans. Don't leave words in and insults in and thinking that intelligent Arsenal fans are not going to accept what you say. It's funny that the two of the people that had a go at him, the one who interviewed him, the one who had a go at him, and the one that stirred all the trouble. If we can dissect their backgrounds, all three of them have got things in common. They didn't originally go to watch the teams they say they supported. They watched other teams live. One didn't watch the team that he says he supported until his 21st to 22nd birthday. Another one didn't watch the team he says he supported until well into his late teens. And the other one lives in a particular part of London where he has a bigger connection to Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal and maybe West Ham than he does to the team he claims to support. Yet you were the one who stirred the porridge, and you were the one who insulted him, and you're the one who interviewed him. It's quite extraordinary that you guys have somehow become leaders of your particular fan bases, and you've all got something in common. And I don't want to sort of insult anyone here because there's kids watching, and kids are very impressionable. But there's a thing in a certain industry that some men watch in private where they have an expression which they call the money shot. And the money shot's always been Arsenal football. And I see you guys, and I wish you tried it on me because I ruined all three of you.
We're not going to do it, Kenny. They're not going to do it, my friend. But let's get into this. I've seen so much of people saying, I mean, case in point, the improvement that the idiot Goldbitch said 8th and an FA Cup, 8th, 5th, 2nd. Okay, so we've gone 8th FA Cup. Okay, trophy. 8th, nothing. 5th, nothing. 2nd, nothing. 2nd, nothing. And we're now looking in a bit of an untenable position. Yeah, Man City are sitting behind us, 3 points. All right, yes, we've got the better goal difference. Yeah. But where is the improvement? Because we could end up now, all right, Liverpool lost today. So at the end of the day, we could have lost second spot very quickly. Where's the improvement, guys? I'm going to start with you on this one, Arron, because with those stats, I don't see any bloody improvement. Second is great. It's fantastic. Wins you nothing. Nothing. Yeah. So where have we improved? What have we achieved, man?
I mean, I'll obviously elaborate on it a little bit more, but to be bold, we haven't. I do something on my show every week, Jez, to mud all of these top idiots, called Regression FC. So I'm extremely well versed in how we're progressing and or regressing, by the way, because it's called Regression FC, in every single metric. So what I do is I do the game day for everyone that don't know, match day 25 all the way up to 35 so far, which we'll be doing it tomorrow. And I do that for last season, this season, of course, and the season before. The numbers aren't just going down. They're way down. We're 20 goals behind than we was last season at the same point, 35. Wow. 20 points behind. We're less points behind. It was all in double figures, Jez. Defensively, we're nowhere near good enough still. That's regressed. The goal difference, massively behind, 20 now. I think it was in the last season and the season before, there or thereabouts. The goals are massively down. We're not talking 4 or 5. We're talking 20. There's no progression in any single metric at all. The draws, we've drew as many games at this stage of this season as we did in the last 2 seasons combined, because his manager is absolutely petrified of trying to win a game instead of trying to not lose it. Absolutely petrified. There isn't a metric, a metric at least that isn't conjured up by boffins, idiots and morons like GA, Field Tilt and all of that nonsense in which we're actually progressing. There just isn't. The stats are there. I do it every single week. I don't need to go back on it. They're there. We are regressing. We're not just regressing. We're not just driving forward. We're not going back. We're driving off the cliff. We're not reversing off of it, boys. We're driving off of it. We're not good. In every single metric on the eye test, we're crap. Absolutely crap. The football's getting worse. We can't do anything positive at the minute. It's no good. We can't hold the lead. 21 points, boys. 21 points from winning positions. That's nearly enough points to keep you up in the Premier League this year, by the way. Do you know what I mean? It could almost get you away from survival. It's not good enough. It's that bad. And it's all spearheaded by Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, a.k.a. Arteta Guard. It's all spearheaded by them. I'll close with this. I want to let other people obviously have their say. We have gone from Herbert Chapman's and the Bertie Mees and the George Grahams and the Arsene Wengers and captains like Patrick Vieira's and Tony Adams and you know, we also back in the day, Alan Ball, Pat Rice, David O'Leary's, Kenny Sampson before, obviously, Tony Adams took over the armband in '88. Now, look at what we've got. We've got Jedward, the terrible twins. We've got Mikel and Mike. What are we doing here? Mikel and Martin. What are we doing here? That we're going nowhere fast with these boys up there. We are managerial wise, because this manager ain't the first team coach anymore, by the way. He's not. He's the first team manager and he has been for 2 years. What can he manage? He can't squad build, can't squad manage. He ain't got man management in his locker and he can't in-game manage. It's tactics, boys. We've 100% been found out. We couldn't even, against PSG and at times against Bournemouth, we couldn't even get out of our own penalty box, let alone our first half. We've been tactically found out in terms of playing the ball out from the back. Totally found out in terms of how to beat us a diagonal ball. That's been there for 2-3 years. Our midfield's now getting overrun. Our set pieces now we've been found out. So we've got no tactics left. So if we've got a manager that can't manage whatsoever, and we've got tactics that are failing in every single metric, what hope have we got for next season if this man's still in charge? So to answer your question and all around about there, we are regressing. There's no progression. There isn't. The most damning one of all is we haven't won anything in 5 years. And it don't look like that's going to change come Wednesday and come the 31st. I can promise you that, boy. It's ridiculous.
Mark says, "Hi, Jez. I mentioned to Lee earlier, had a season ticket for 50 years. Wow, that's longer than me. And refuse to pay the inflated prices when I get nothing back. True. Big up DJB, man. Sorry you can't make it tonight. I hope you get your flat.
No, I've just put no. He's just got in. I've just put it in the private chat. Shall I send him a link? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send it to him. Yeah, I'll put it in the private chat. Just text me.
All right, fair enough. Shane, 8th FA Cup, 8th, 5th, 2nd. Well, you tell me that's progression? Yeah, I mean, you know, what I don't get. Sorry, mate. What I don't get. So coming second wins you what, man? What does it win you? Fuck all. I don't care about second. I want 1-1-1.
Yeah, it means nothing, Jez. It means absolutely nothing at the end of the day. And I always say this when I get this 8-8 second, and then they thought it would be second this year thing. I go 8-8, right? Then I go, 8-8, 5th, second. I go 5th. Okay, we were 8 points clear of Tottenham with a few games left. We threw it away. That's what I see. I don't see 5th. I see we were in 4th and we threw away 4th. The first second, we were 8 points clear of City. We threw that away. The next second, we started off terribly that season, started to pick it up, but we threw it away in December. But he likes to go on about the calendar year trophy that we got. Most points in the calendar year. He doesn't mention that the 2 games before that calendar year started, we lost. We lost to Fulham and we lost to West Ham. We threw away the league. He doesn't mention that. That's the problem. Dude. And that's what you're dealing with. But you see, it's total regression for me. And what gets to me the most is when they name these places where we finished. They don't seem to watch the football. And that comes down, that's the whole basis of it. If you watch an Arsenal match, you know, Lee's having to go through with people and just sit with them and watch the football and make them watch Odegaard. And then they go, okay, maybe you're right. You know what I mean? It's like they're not watching the full match. It's like they don't understand football. It's like they just watch a little YouTube short of Martin Odegaard spinning and the ball slowed down and they go, oh, he's amazing. They don't seem to watch football or know football. And it's no coincidence that the majority of them on that side, there's not many of them over 30. There is a few. There's a few over 30, but not many. And they're of the sort of the Emirates PR era to me, where the older generation support the Arsenal. You know what I mean? They support the Marble Halls Arsenal. They support a different Arsenal. They support the club. They don't support a manager. They support the club and they want what's best for the club. And I've said it before, you know, when we're here and we're criticizing it and they're saying, oh, you're negative and we're saying this is going to happen, so much of the stuff we call comes true and they act like we want it. You know, Timber's injured. Arteta won't say what the injury is, which makes me believe that he needs another operation, which is something I've been calling for a long, long time. I said, wait at the end of the season, Timber will need an operation. So even with Timber injured, he picked Ben White at the weekend, risked our second right back, who isn't fit, and we could have ended up with him getting injured and Partey having to play right back against PSG. The goal of the man, and people think that the result against Bournemouth was terrible. Let's get it right. But I was furious before kickoff. As soon as I saw that first 11, I was furious. Absolutely furious, because there was no reason in any universe to play a full team in that game. There was no reason to play a full team. That guy, we know he's the king of manipulation and the king of PR. He should have considered, if I play all the kids and lose, people won't get my back because they go, okay, rested for PSG. Well done. If I play all the kids and win, I'm a genius. But if he plays the first team, he's already started off on a bad foot. And if he loses, then he's double. And then he's absolutely flabbergasted when people start asking him tough questions, which doesn't get done often enough. He doesn't get asked tough questions often enough. And when he does, he storms out, which is the sign of a narcissist. When he knows he's wrong, then that world doesn't exist. He has to move away. And, you know, I'll finish on this with the whole Ben White thing, right? I've said this on Lee's and I've said it on many streams. And I like the so-called top gooners or the Arteta-ins, whatever you want to call them, will say, oh, it's like you're wishing it on him. But I'm just saying as it is. I can see Ben White the rest of his career being like Jack Wilshere now, where he is in and out injured all the time. You cannot play on a bad knee for 3 months. You cannot do it. The knee, it's so important. You know what I mean? And anybody who's had knee injuries, I've had knee injuries, it never goes away. So if you're playing for 3 months, Arteta then had the gall to admit that he needed, he came out and said that he needed surgery, and he played him on a knee, risking his career. And then he had the even worse when we get to see how delusional Arteta is, that he thinks if he says something, it's fact. A few months later in a press conference, he goes, we haven't had Ben White all season. And not one reporter goes, there, hang on, he played the first 14 games, mate. Remember, you said you played him when he needed. But he goes, Ben White's been out all season, and everyone goes, okay, Jesus, that's tough for you. And this is the last thing I'll say. You wait and see him out for his speech against Newcastle, right? On the last home game. He will wheel out all the injured players on crutches and bandages that will look like something from World War One. And he'll wheel them out and he'll make them all stand close together, and he'll make sure that the cameras pan in on them and everybody can see how many people are injured and how many people he's been without. And they'll instantly think that we've had all these players out all season. And let's get it right. The players that have been out are the likes of Kai Havertz, the players we don't want in the team anyway. Saka, fair enough. And he could be injured as well. But listen, to answer your question after that ramble, nothing's improved, Jezza, and it's only gotten worse. And next season it's going to be so much worse. We have to do a near total rebuild. And if he's in charge next season, no matter what we spend, we won't finish inside the top 5. Without a doubt, we won't finish inside the top 5.
Lee, look, I mean, you've got all the facts. You know it. What has gone wrong, Lee, here? Because, you know, we brought this guy in. You didn't want him. I didn't want him. Kenny didn't want him. Shane didn't want him. Arron didn't want him. Loads of people in the chat didn't want him. What is going wrong at this club? Because it's deeper than just this manager. It's go on, mate. Just give me your opinion.
The fan base, Jez. I've been calling them out for years. Yeah, they are the single biggest problem at this football club. Not all of them, but a large majority of them. Yeah, they accepted this guy who had never managed a football club before, like he was the king. Like, oh, he's the greatest manager in the world. He's never managed before. No. Yeah, and then anyone who didn't jump on board with it straight away was instantly abused left, right, and centre. You're toxic, you're negative. Oh, get out of here, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever, mate. Cool. Then he goes and wins the FA Cup. Fantastic. What was the formation? Oh, he played 3 at the back. How many times has he played 3 at the back ever since?
Exactly.
He's barely played a 3 at the back. The only time he's ever done it that I can remember is when we played City and he just put about 20 at the back. Well, 10 at the back because we had one sent off. And yeah, Gooner, I was coming to that. Bless up to you, bro. That was in COVID. There was no fans in the stadium watching these shit shows in the league. Yeah, because let's be real. We got battered by Dean Smith's Aston Villa 3-0 at home. Dean Smith. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, that was our biggest defeat to Aston Villa since 1928.
Yep.
Yeah, then we lost to Wolves, Burnley, and Leicester all at home. This was all from like November, December. That was the following year after the Cup. But all of these came in a row. Yeah, so he finished 8th and people went, well, he inherited a mess. Well, he didn't really, did he? He inherited a team that had been banged in the Europa League final and finished 2 points off 3rd. So he finished, Emery finished 5th. But, he's saved us from relegation. That's all he kept hearing. Saved us from relegation. Mate, we were joint 6th with 25 games to go. 8 points or 7 points off Chelsea in 4th, which was the aim for this manager, 4th. So then he finished 8th again. And then he goes and bottles it to Antonio Conte in phase 1 at Tottenham with 3 games left. He's got rid of half of our squad by then. Yeah, he's brought in a load of trash by that point. Yeah, and then out of nowhere, we go on a title charge before Qatar World Cup. And that got everyone gassed. Yeah, that got everybody sucked in. It was like, yo, the process, the phases, and all of this. Yeah, it sucked it all in. And then we bottled it. And it was, well, there's no shame losing the title to Man City. Yeah, this is all you get out of the fans, Jez. Yeah, then last season, we bottled it to Aston Villa, to our former manager yet again, after he'd already lost to our former manager in a semi-final of a European Cup. Yeah, Villarreal. This guy's been banged against Liverpool in a semi-final of the League Cup. He's been banged by Newcastle in a semi-final of a League Cup. Do you remember Ben White when he was laughing at Minamino when he skied one over the bar? Then they came to the Emirates and beat us and got to the final and won it. Yeah, who was laughing then? If I was Liverpool that night, if I was Minamino, I would have run up to Ben White and laughed in his face. Hey, we're off to a final, mate. What are you doing? Yeah, I'm sick to death of it. These players, Jez, yeah, right, have been run into the ground. Yeah, this season's been an absolute shit show. And me and Matty sat on a show. I think it was a pre-season game. I can't remember which pre-season game. It was in America. I think it might have been Liverpool. Yeah, it might have been Liverpool. We had one ball over the top. It went from the goalkeeper. Can't remember who brought it down. Harvey Elliott gets it. First time ball round the corner. Salah clean through. Scored. Yeah, me and Matty sat there and said, this is going to be a long season, mate. We're in the top 4 race.
I remember it.
We're in the top 4 race. We said that on that pre-season game. We're in the top 4 race. Yeah, because we could see exactly what he was going to do this season. We were all sitting there crying out for a striker. He goes out and buys Mikel Merino, who was the 3rd best midfielder in Sociedad's midfield. Yeah, and then look at how he's used him. Sparingly, fair enough. He'd done his collarbone, or shoulder, or whatever it was. So he didn't really get the full pre-season plus like get embedded into the team. I hear that, cool. But now he's put him up front. Yesterday, he brings him off the bench and plays him in midfield. Are you fucking stupid? Yeah, he has Zinchenko on the bench, who should have started yesterday. He's been playing in midfield when he has played, and he plays him at left back yesterday. The guy is more confused than Scooby-Doo, mate. Like, honestly, why are you bringing him on to play left back? Yeah, but you've been playing him in midfield. And the geezer that's going to go up front on Wednesday, you bring on to play in midfield. Surely you put him up front and say, go and nick us a goal, mate. Go and get us a goal. Get your confidence going for Wednesday. Yeah, so he plays him in midfield and he got the run around. Yeah, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, Jez, this fan base come out of excuse. Yeah, and they cry about referees. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that was handball yesterday for their goal, Evan Nielsen. There's no conclusive evidence to suggest that it is elbow. And even if it did, it should have been a fucking penalty anyway.
It would have been. Yeah.
Our captain is looking that way when the corner's coming from behind. Yeah. And he's dragging hold of him. They're holding on to each other. He's dragging him and dragging him. Then our goalkeeper said it all season. So all of you guys, all season, I said that geezer is getting chipped at least once this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have happened 4 times against Palace. It could have happened twice against Newcastle in the second leg. Could have happened yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, it could have happened multiple other times that we've seen him scrambling back, running back. Yeah, and I don't necessarily blame him because he's being told to play like that. But at the same time, the whole thing is a shit show, mate. Yeah, it's an absolute shit show. The fans are the biggest problem for me because the Cronkies are just do what the majority want. You've got a manager sitting in press conferences basically saying what Top Gooners say on the internet. Yeah, well, guys, I walked out and I looked on the sideline and there were 7 players, guys. And it dawned on me, they're all injured, guys. And then he read out said all their names. Tommy Yasu. Oh, what an unbelievable defender. Unbelievable. Really? An unbelievable defender. Do you not remember when he passed Kevin De Bruyne clean through and he chipped our goalkeeper that day as well, by the way, and they won the league? Does he not remember that? Oh, he's unbelievable. Well, where is he then? Where is he then? How comes this geezer has had to have surgery twice since he's been here? How comes Martinelli's had surgery? How comes Timber's had surgery? Yeah. How comes Ben White's had surgery? How comes Bukayo Saka and 29 have had surgery? How many more fucking surgeries, Jez? Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And the reason for that, and I'll land on this, I'll let Kenny go. Yeah, is the reason for that is this manager refuses to rotate his squad properly. He refuses to do what is required in the transfer window. He knows the budget that we have every summer. He's the manager of the football club. He's going to sit down with them and say, right, what can we do? What's what we got for the summer? Yeah, they're probably already speaking about that weeks ago. And they've gone, well, roughly there or thereabouts, we can do about 80 million in transfer fees. Roughly. We'll have to get rid of a few. So which ones do you want to get rid of? He gets rid of 4 attackers and brings in Raheem fucking Sterling as replacement for 4 attackers. So instead, when he knows the budget, he goes, right, what I'll do is I'll go and buy Calafiori because he can model the merch and all the girls will love him. All the boys will fancy him as well. Then what I'll do, is I'll go and get Sociedad's third best midfielder. Yeah, because the project of having 29 in midfield didn't work. So now he's up front. Yeah, all he's done is just mask over all the things that he's done wrong. Ben White, he brought as a centre back, he's now right back. He brought Timber as a left back, but Ben White got injured, so he's playing him right back and he's staying there now. And Ben White can't get a game anymore. Then he brought Zinchenko, he's brought Calafiori and all these other players, centre backs, to play left back. And lo and behold, Kieran Tierney's still our best fucking defender at the club. And he can't get a game because he can't invert and he tucks his shirt in. And he ain't pretty enough. And then the boy out the academy, who's a midfielder, is now at left back every week. It's an absolute disgrace, mate. He's got a goalkeeper, who's fallen off a cliff this season. I don't care what anyone tells me. That goalkeeper has been shit all season. He's been unbelievably poor all season. We've got Bukayo Saka, who don't look anywhere near being fit enough to be on a football pitch. But don't worry, Yeah, he scored against Everton, and he had a good performance against Real Madrid, and he scored against them. Yeah, well, cool. What did he do yesterday on the eve of us playing the biggest game of the season? Yeah, because I didn't know he was on the pitch, and it ain't his fault. I'm not blaming him. Yeah, we're looking at Ben White, Martin Odegaard. That's our whole right-hand side going into that PSG game, by the way. All of them look fucked. Yeah, let's just be real with it. Our captain's a disgrace. Yeah, Ben White's done. Yeah, Saka's done. And I remember sitting, and I'll say this, Kenny, sorry, mate. I'll say this last thing. I remember sitting on a show with a Gale, and I think Cooks was on there as well. Loads of people in the chat. Yeah, well, I said, I'm telling you now, Bukayo Saka is going to be fucked next season. Yeah, I said, it's all well and good now, him having a run out and all of this and scoring a couple of goals here and there. You don't know the long-term damage that's doing to him next season. He looks lost, mate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he ain't been the Bukayo Saka we've seen last season or before the injury. Why? Because he ain't fit. No. And it's the same with a lot of our players. He's ruined a lot of our players. Jesus is done as a footballer, mate. He's killed him. But here's what it is. It's not just a one-person problem, but the fans can get him out. They don't want to get him out because they're just happy to see a better version of Arsenal that ain't getting banged 6-3, 6-0, 8-2.
Fact. But I'm just going to, before I come to Kenny, man, I'm just going to read a couple of super chats. Scott, thank you, man. Is this the trailer for a new Avengers film? Fair play. Fair play. Thank you for your super chat, buddy. Scott, again, Arteta looks like he's sabotaging the club. Many players leaving the summer and the squad is already small. You need about 10 players. Well, that's about right, to be honest. Kenny, you were there yesterday, obviously, and the fans are starting to have a little bit of a punch-up in the North Bank, a bit like in the Wenger days.
I have to say,
yesterday, Kenny.
I have to say, I didn't notice it. I think something bigger happened before the match, but so I don't embarrass the person. I'll keep that to myself because I'm not about that life. I'm not going to go and put it viral. But something else happened that was actually more serious, but it had nothing to do with Arsenal. Well, it had something indirectly to do with Arsenal, but it was a personal and of a belief sort of thing. But we'll leave it at that. But in terms of where it's gone wrong for Arsenal, well, you only have to look at the similarities between Pochettino's Tottenham and this Arsenal. Same sort of thing. If you look at Arsenal's results over the last 3 years, if you include this season, we got the most points out of all the teams that all the teams in the Premiership. But the common denominator is we haven't won anything. We haven't won any cups, and we certainly haven't won the Premiership. The same with Pochettino's Spurs between December 2015 and January 2018. They accumulated the most points out of any team in the Premiership. They didn't win anything. They had a very, very solid team, just like us. But the common denominator is that when it comes to like the 6-pointers, or it comes to the big games when the pressure's on, they never delivered. They were in semi-finals against Chelsea and Man United, lost them both. Lost the Champions League finals to Liverpool. They were in that season, they were a semi-final against Chelsea, lost. This is the same sort of thing with us. And what happened is eventually, like Arsenal, they got a very, very small squad. The Poch never changed his team. He didn't freshen it up in a way we should have done. He should have done. Players wouldn't come to Spurs because they thought they wouldn't get a game because Harry Kane was immovable. The same sort of thing with Sesko. Sesko didn't come to our club last season. Now, Sesko's I don't think he's any of our first choice as a striker. But the example is that he wouldn't come to Arsenal because he didn't get assurances that he would get first-team football over Kai Havertz. And this is a fact. It's well documented. So we have the same sort of situation where recruitment, inability to get over the line between ourselves and Spurs, and the most important thing is people began to work Spurs out, Poch's Spurs out, and they're beginning to do it for us. And that's all in between. If you look at the Poch's last full season, when they got to the Champions League final, they began to fall off in the league. Yeah, they got third place, but from January 2019 up until May 2019, the results went backwards. Do you see the similarities with us this season? And then what happened? They didn't have a great recruitment, and in the end, the Poch lost his job. We're under the same sort of situation where we badly need to get some new faces in. We need to sort that left side pronto. We need to fresh up the midfield, and we need to get a striker in. And we have to sell some of our big names and make a sacrifice, because it's not going to work. You can't do what Man United do and just overload with big money signings. For a start, where are they going to play? And the most important thing is that you're going to be subject to PSR, and that's where Arsenal are going. I'm so glad we got Berta, but Berta's only going to be worth his salt if he actually is allowed to do his job properly and allowed not to just to deal with players' contracts and deal with incomes. He's got to be able to win battles with Arteta when it comes to getting rid of his stars. If Martinelli, if someone comes from Martinelli, sell. Someone comes from Odegaard, sell. You've got to consider it, because they're not exactly brought a success. So we're not going to miss him, are we?
Not really. Anyway, good points there, Kenny. DJB, man, thanks for joining, as always. Look, good point here from RGS. If Amorian wins a bigger trophy than Arteta in his first season, what we asking? What we saying? DJ, you were at the game, right? What I saw, a lot of empty seats, right? A couple of people have told me that in the North Bank, there was a little, in block 7, there was a little bit kicking off, a little bit scuffles after the game. This is maybe, in your opinion, is this your opinion, that the worm is starting to turn now? People are getting young. I see Kenny put it out there the other day. People are returning or trying to put their tickets on ticket exchange for the next leg of the Champions League semi-final. Is this, do you think, people are really now turning and saying, I've had enough of this?
Unfortunately, for every one of us that's been saying about this manager, there's thousands that absolutely worship the ground he walks on. And you're going to get pockets turning against him the longer it goes on, but you ain't going to get the masses, and that's what we need. We need the masses, not just one or two or just some little pockets of fans. You know, this is serious now, and I've been saying it for a long time, like we all have, because if this doesn't get sorted out now, the future of this club is going to get affected, because the next manager coming in has got to mop up a lot of crap. He's going to be left with wages out of control. He's going to be left with players' contracts out of control. He's going to be left with players' loss of form that you can't sell. So the next manager coming in will have a big problem. It ain't going to be left like Liverpool when Slot walks in from Klopp. It's not going to be left like that. It will be left in a complete mess if we don't act very, very quickly. Now, the problem where it's gone wrong is this guy, because he's got so much trap and he knows what to say, he was given too much responsibility by the owners from day one. He wasn't eased into the job. He was given a kingdom straight away. He was given transfers. He was given complete sole running of the club. And this is where it's gone wrong, because he's come in as a rookie. He's come in with no experience. The signings he's made have been absolutely woeful. And now you've got the snowball effect. It's all coming now to a head whereby we can see that there's holes in the team, the left side that Kenny alludes to, and everyone. We know we need midfield. We know he's been signing centre halves and playing them at left back. We know he's been signing goalkeeper after goalkeeper after goalkeeper. But this has been allowed to get on and carry on. So I've been pretty good with the owners. And I've always said that every fan from every club will not be happy with the owners of something. I've always said the owners have backed him where money's concerned. Now they need to step in. Now they need to stop making this man bigger than the club. They need to step in now and say, You've taken us as far as you can. You've done all what you can. It's time now that we change, and it's time that we change for the good. Because the more it goes on, the more you're just going to get kind of brainwashed into that this process is going to work. And it hasn't worked. It hasn't really worked at all. He's been very, very lucky in certain situations. He's been very, very lucky. Every time he's been on the ropes, he's come up with a result. 5-1 against Man City. Going into that 5-1 against Man City, we were pretty awful. We've been pretty awful all season. But he comes out with a 5-1 against Man City and everyone's gassed up. He was on the ropes going into the Real Madrid. He gets over the line against Real Madrid. Everyone's then gassed up. And this is how he's been carrying on. And it's time to stop now because it's a complete joke. The club is in turmoil. The wage structure is a joke. We're playing average players top dollar. We've got a captain that's not a captain. It's not even a number 10, not good enough to play with this team. And it's just going to go on and on and on. And the biggest problem is that this man has become bigger than the football club. Alex Ferguson wasn't bigger than Man United. And yet this man has become bigger than the football club. And that is what's happening. That is the sole root of this virus that we've got now at the club. And I'll call it a virus because that's what it is. Because it's spreading around the club. The performances on the pitch are absolutely shocking. We've been in a false position all season. Literally all season we've been in a false position because the other teams have dropped off. Now, I bet you any money the top Gooners are starting to look at the Chelsea result. They're looking at the Newcastle result. They're looking at the Man City result. Why? Because weeks ago we were miles ahead of them and we were finishing second. Happy days. We've come second again. We've won the runners-up trophy. Now they're all looking at the teams below us because they know that we could finish fourth.
Yep.
Look where Chelsea are. Look where Newcastle are. And look at our next league games.
Thing is, though, DJ, if we finish fourth, right? If we finish fourth, would that bother you?
Do you know what? It don't bother me where we finish. I just want a trophy.
What's the difference between second and fourth?
Nothing. There's no difference between if we don't get a trophy, there's no difference between where West Ham finish and where Arsenal finish. No difference at all. And I've said that all along. All it is a night out.
Oh, what a fucking goal. Oh, my days. Anthony's just scored an absolute rocket in stoppage time. Oh, my days. What a goal.
That's the quality of football we should be watching, Lee.
Goal, mate.
But this is where it's going wrong. There is no difference finishing second without a trophy, fourth without a trophy, or where West Ham will finish. Honestly, it's terrible. But as I said, the main root of the cause is that this man has been given too much responsibility. He's been given too much. He's been given just the whole club to do what he likes with. And it's wrong because he was never in that position. He was never good enough, experienced enough to take it on. And now it's all coming to a head. And if we don't act on it, I mean, I'm with Shane, top right-hand corner. Even if he wins the Champions League, I want him gone. Because I'm thinking long term. I'm not thinking of a short-term fix. I'm thinking long term.
I know. There's 850 in the house. Smash the likes up. Sub if you're new. It does help the channel. I never say that enough, but I'm saying it now. Arron, finishing second, finishing fourth. What does it matter? Look, at the end of the day, all these people seem to want and care about now is Champions League. I get that. Of course we want to be in the Champions League. We want to be in the best league in Europe. Of course we do. Right? But on the side note, does that mean we have to sacrifice everything else? Because let's look at the record of this manager in the FA Cup. Bearing in mind, this club has won the most FA Cups and been in the most semi-finals more than any other football club in England. Yet we dismiss it. And I find it a bit weird, the fact that this manager claims when he's questioned, he's won, dare I say it, 3 trophies, one of which is an FA Cup. The other two are dinner plates. Yeah, but he said it. He said it. And I don't believe he said that tongue in cheek. Right? I think he was desperate to make out a shout. Well, I've won. Yeah, okay, fair play. Right, you've won an FA Cup. I respect you for that. I love the FA Cup. Shane does. DJ, me, Kenny, you. We all love the FA Cup because it's I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say it. To me, it's a major trophy.
Mm-hmm.
No, Jez, he done it after the PSG game the other day. Yeah, he was being interviewed on CBS. Yeah, and she said to him, obviously, tough ask, obviously, disappointing result tonight. Obviously, you've got to go to Paris now and get a result, otherwise you're not going to make it. And he went, it was the same after we beat Real Madrid 3-0. We still had to go there and win. He's subconsciously telling you, I beat Real Madrid.
Yep.
That's what he's telling you.
Yeah.
I beat Real Madrid. Well, before the game at the weekend, before the PSG game, the press conference, yeah, they were asking him about PSG, what he thinks of them as a club and this and that. And he went, oh, a member of staff here today showed me a picture of me when I played at PSG. And I couldn't believe it, guys. I was on the pitch. I was playing football with Ronaldinho. And they showed it, and it was a picture of me and Ronaldinho. So now he's telling you, I'm a great footballer. I played with Ronaldinho. The guy's a scumbag, mate.
He's a boot boy, mate. That's all he was.
He's a lawyer.
He was a little boot boy, boot polisher.
If he was a great footballer, how many times did he play for his country?
Never.
Yeah. Why did he try to declare for England? He tried to declare for England.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I'll give you another one, right? When Cristiano Ronaldo came back with Real Madrid to play against Man United, the Man United announcer, you know, when you read out the names of the players and the shirt numbers and all of that, yeah, Ronaldo's playing against them at Old Trafford, and he gave him the biggest hype when he read out his name for Real Madrid. Yeah, and the whole stadium stood up and clapped him. Let's see if he gets that on Wednesday when we go to Paris.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. Let's see if he gets it.
True. The thing is, though, Shane, coming second, coming fourth, third, fourth, fifth, right? If you qualify, you qualify. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't won nothing. Yep. We haven't won shit. Arron, Shane, just throw it in there. Because
yeah, man, I'll jump in just quickly,
man. But I'm just pissed off with this club.
Yeah, listen, I actually agree with you just quickly. The FA Cup is a major. It's, it always hold a place in my heart anyway, because obviously we all couldn't go to the 2021 because of COVID, but the 2017 one was the first year I got my season ticket. And incidentally, I was able to get a ticket for the FA Cup. So that was my first time at Wembley seeing us lift it. So obviously the FA Cup means everything to me. It did when I was a kid. It did when it was our first trophy I see us lift in 98. And it always will be. But look, listen, you asked about the second place. I actually don't want us to get second, honestly, and I don't mean it as if I don't want us to be second. Ain't success. It just ain't. I sort of slightly only ever so disagree with DJB and saying it's West Ham. It don't mean nothing. The only reason I actually don't want us to slip at the Champions League is because I think it would deter a better manager coming to the club. That's the only reason I'd actually want us to keep Champions League football, is because it would attract a better level of manager. If one was to become available, I reckon it would make us a poorer choice, or maybe they'd turn it up. I hope he gets sacked next season. This is the only reason I say that. But I don't want us to get second, because I'm sick to death of people saying second. Yeah, even in the season where it's been unprecedented injuries and referee indecisions, they've gone against us, we've still managed to get second. Give me a break. That is the biggest load of shit you'll ever hear in your life. And I'd rather us, whether it be third, whether it be fourth, I don't care. I just don't want to see us finish second, just so they can, because that's what they'll say, second. They look at results and they metrics, but they won't look at the table and see that we're 15 points behind in second. They'll go, well, it was 5 points behind 2 years ago. Now it was only 2 last year, but they won't be quick enough to jump that. It could be 18 points after the Liverpool game, will they? They won't say that. They won't say it's progression with that. I'm sick to death of it. I want us to finish third, and we probably will. Let's get it right. We got Liverpool at Anfield next, then we got Newcastle at home. Anyone see us getting 6 points at that? So I don't see it. I wouldn't even see us getting the 1 point. Newcastle have been astronomically better than us this season. I don't know how they're not ahead of us now, and they proved it the last 3 times they played. Yeah, we might finish 6th. I mean, I don't think we will, but yes, I'm just sick to death of it. This second, and I say this phrase all the time. The last time we finished second 3 times in a row, it was sandwiched between 2 double winning teams in 98 and 2002. This is sandwiched between 5th place bottle job and God knows what next year if this manager's still in charge. God knows what. I pray for Arsenal. As I said earlier, everything's going down. Does anyone here on this panel chat? Do you trust Mikel Arteta to manage and lead us through with his tactical masterclass and his signings next season? Nah, it's full house of head shakes. We don't. I just don't see where we're going with us, to be fair with you. If that man gets knocked out against PSG, he deserves to be sacked on the spot. Get him out. Take the prick of a captain with you. Get him out and all, and properly start to rebuild this football club. Because if both Mikel and Martin are both captain and manager of this football club next season, it's another one gone. That's it. We might as well just write the season off already. And then just here we go. 2026 will be saying the same thing. If he sees his contract out, 2027 will come round, and there we go again. We're all sat here on the same panel. Wonderful 6 legends here talking. Wonderful world-class chat talking, and we'll be saying the same bollocks because we're watching the same bollocks. Looped around over and over and over again. All we've done is quantum leap.
Last 4 years.
Exactly. So why is it going to change? Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That is our manager. There we go.
Yeah, Anthony. Sorry, Shane. Shane, man. What? I mean, it fries my brain that how can these people accept this mediocrity, failure of a manager, and the fact they're gassing it again, second. What is that? Is that the level of achievement we accept now at Arsenal?
It's the level that he has strategically placed out, and he like Lee says, he gives these sound bites, and he sounds like the Arteta ins sound online, and they sound like him, and it's one and the same. They feed each other. He's clever at putting out these little things. He started laying groundwork very early in the season for failure. He started. Someone said, "If you don't win anything, is it a failure?" And he said, "Oh well, one person's opinion of failure might be different to someone else's, guys. You might look at our situation and see that the injuries and the red cards, guys." And remember, he said the one that any other time a team would finish 15th if they had what we had. Now, that to me was the most narcissistic, arrogant, God complex comment that I've ever heard. How dare he say that only I could have done this? That is literally what he's paraphrasing. He is saying only I could have done what we've done. That guy, and I said this before, and I always repeat it. I've read it. Boxes of football autobiographies all through my life, right? And anyone that was a manager, especially in the more modern era, they all say to a T. And Henri said it recently as well, that the press conferences was the worst part of their job. It was tedious. It was the same thing. You're explaining yourself. You're having to answer the same questions. That's his favorite part of the week, is a press conference, because all the cameras are pointing at him, all the microphones are in front of him, and everybody is looking at him, and everybody's asking him questions. He's in it for the wrong reasons. He's in it because it's the Mikel Arteta show. It's the Mikel Arteta show, and he wants to star in it. Second means nothing. It means nothing. If you were, I don't know, a mid-table team and you finish second, you go, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. They won't do it again next year. It's brilliant. We're Arsenal, and another narrative that they've twisted is saying we're glory hunters for wanting trophies. We're glory hunters for wanting trophies. This is Arsenal. It's not Brighton, or it's not, with all due respect to them, West Ham, or even to Villa, right? A team that doesn't really win that often. If they started demanding trophies after one good season, you go, here, pump the brakes a little bit there. But we're Arsenal, and his dismissal of the FA Cup is enough to sack him in my book. It's enough to sack him in my book. The FA Cup final day is one of the most glorious days in football. Pele talked about it. You know what I mean? Cruyff said he wanted to come to England just to play in the FA Cup. When the first foreigners started coming over, Aussie Ardelas and stuff like that, they didn't come over to play in the league. They came over to play in the FA Cup. They came over to win the FA Cup. When it used to be, we used to get it on BBC over here when I was a young lad, and the coverage started about 9 in the morning, all the way through till 3, and you'd watch every minute of it, glued to the telly, watching it, interviews, the magic of it. And every time an FA Cup final comes and we're not in it, I'm depressed. Leading up to it, the day of it, the day after, I wish my team was in it. And his dismissal of it, the one thing that is used to keep him in a job, by the way, oh, he's won an FA Cup in his first 6 months. To then dismiss it, and he does dismiss it. If people think that it's just being unlucky, he dismisses it. This all-white kit, and they're making a laughing stock of it. And don't get me wrong, the FA have a lot to do with putting the semis at Wembley was a disgrace. It completely takes away from the competition, but that's for another story. It did a totally different conversation. He has dismissed this competition. 10 men United, 60 minutes gone, couldn't break them down. Low block, of course. You can never figure out a low block. But second means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing to me unless you have to win. You're just first, last, and second. And especially when it's second, and then if it is second again, but it won't, it'll be third or fourth. So it's just more failure. It's more failure. I think it's 19 competitions down the row he's failed in. If he goes out to PSG. 19 competitions in a row that he has failed in. And that's the word failed. He didn't runner up. It wasn't injuries. I'll finish on this, I'll end on this, and it's a point that Views makes. He's in the chat there. He's a legend, right? He says that we haven't been unlucky with injuries. We haven't been unlucky with injuries this season. We just got really lucky the previous 2 seasons that we didn't get injuries. When even people say the squad is small now, who's he meant to bring in? When he had Smith Rowe, when he had Fabio Vieira, Nelson, and Keddy, he still didn't rotate. We were 5-0 up against Lons at half time. He left Saka on, flogged them. And now he's saying that the injury's in Saka's head. Is that 15-inch scar on his leg and his head, is it? The man's a narcissist. He has no care for the players. And for the likes of Guarnieri, he'll be gone soon. And I wouldn't blame him. If I was him, I'd be telling my agent, I need to go play football. Our most creative player, and he's completely nullified him. And yeah, to answer your question, Jess, second means absolutely nothing to me. I want trophies. We're Arsenal. We should be winning trophies. Not every year, but most years we should be winning trophies, cups, whatever. We should be winning them. And this season was not a league challenge. We weren't top for one day. It's not a league challenge. We just watched Liverpool stroll the league, and that's it.
Fact. Kenny, we've discussed this before, but people accusing us of just a little comment here. How many hours can these guys moan? They must repeat themselves. Well, yes, we do repeat ourselves because we're actually trying to make change the opinion of idiot supporters that will accept failure. I never accept failure. I've never accepted failure in anything in my life. And my great football club, once great football club, never accepted failure. Kenny.
Well, the thing with Brian H is he everything Brian H stands for is completely opposite to the question you asked regarding do we care whether we finish second or third or fourth? Well, people like Brian H, the reason why they're calling us moaners, because people like Brian H, they're all about 2 things, progress and progression. Unfortunately for them, if we finish fourth, then this shoots down their arguments about progression, because if you finish lower than what you finished in the last 2 seasons, then that's regression. That goes against everything. So they do care about where we finish in the table. In fact, they penciled it in already as another bit of success for Mikel. So whilst we think, well, that's another year where we haven't won silverware, those guys I've got another, hoop to jump over, because they're going to try and make excuses. It's not a case of where me, all 6 of us are saying, yeah, we didn't win the league and we're upset about it. And we didn't win the league because of that. They're going to say, we didn't finish second because of injuries and players losing form and VAR. That's their trophy, second. And that's why Brian H is calling us moaners, because he's saying, well, we finished second. What's wrong with finishing second? Before we were eighth, and then we finished fifth, and he's got us in the Champions League in 3 years. What are you guys moaning about? They don't get it. And there's another thing I want to touch on as well. The pointless host or owner of AFTV was having a debate with another person where he was saying, why are Arsenal fans getting upset about Spurs and Man United winning the Europa League when it's not? Why should we be upset about it? After all, it's a competition we're not in. Well, I'll say to that guy, and I'll say to his panel, the reason why Arsenal fans are upset, because unlike you, mate, we are ashamed of our European history and a European return. We've won 2 European trophies, and we haven't won the second one for 31 years. That's why we're upset about the prospect of Man United and Tottenham getting the Europa League final and winning a trophy. One, because they won a trophy. One is because there's another European trophy that we haven't won. Spurs, if they win the Europa League, would have had 4 European trophies to add to, because deep down we think we're going out on Wednesday. We don't want to say it because we're hoping that we have another Ajax situation. I pray we do, but it's highly likely it will. But that's 4 trophies Spurs have won. And they didn't win their last trophy 41 years ago. So they're going to come to the mark. Man United have got a better European predicate than us. So it does matter. It does matter if those two go and win a trophy. Not because it's it's a trophy. It's because it's another European trophy. And that's why I'm praying that we do get to the final and we do win it, because not only is Mikel Arteta presided over a trophious return in the league and the FA Cups, he's also got a really, really average European record where he's flopped even in the Europa League. So we may not have competed. We may not compete in the Europa League, but when we were in the Europa League, he never touched the sides either. So that's why I'm upset about the prospect of Spurs and Man United win the Europa League, because they're showing us how it's done by getting to a final and prospects of winning, and that means they're going to have a better European predicate than us, and I can't handle it. We're meant to be a big club, but where's our Champions League? Where's our European pedigree? It's a joke. Losing finalists, that's all we got to show for it.
True, very true. Lee, I know you got to jump in a minute, mate. You got your watch long.
I've got about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But no, Jez, you're spot on about second place and all that. Yeah, I couldn't give a shit where we finish if we don't win it. Really,
no.
Yeah, right. Let's just be real with it. Like, obviously, we don't want to get relegated. Although maybe we'd win the league if we got relegated.
Not under this point, we wouldn't.
Well, one thing's for sure. If we got relegated, half the fan base would fuck off, wouldn't they? Yeah, we might get our club back. Do you know what I mean? But no, real talk, yeah. All jokes aside, I couldn't care less whether we finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th this season. Couldn't care less. Yeah, because we ain't winning it. Yeah, but like Kenny said, these fans have already bookmarked it that he's finished 2nd 3 times in a row. That's it. That's enough for them. Oh, well, you know, unprecedented season. We got to 2 semi-finals. We beat Real Madrid. We beat Man City. You know, if he gets a couple more players in that he needs, has less injuries, then, you know, we're right on the cusp of greatness. That's all I keep hearing from these people is, you know, we're set up to win in the future. Well, when's this going to happen then? Because every time you ask these people, like, how long's left? Oh, well, if you don't do it next season, yeah, but you said that last season. Yeah, what about if we don't do it next? Oh, it'd be another excuse next season. Then it'd be, I'll give him that, and then it'd be another season. All of a sudden, it'd be 10-year trophy drought, which is longer than Wenger went on. Yeah, and round and round and round we go. Yeah, I couldn't care less, if I'm honest. Yeah, I'm pissed off that Liverpool won the league. Yeah, I'm pissed off that Man United or Tottenham are going to be in that final. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about Tottenham, Jez. You know I don't rate them. Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, if either of them win it, yeah, do you know what the narrative would be for most of this fan base? Yeah, look where they finished in the league.
Yep.
Nobody cares. When we beat Frank Lampard's Chelsea in lockdown in the cup final, right, they finished 4th. If that was the other way round, our fans would have gone, yeah, it don't matter. We've won it more than anyone. We're in the Champions League, mate. They've always got an excuse for failure. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, no other big club on the planet would act like this. He wouldn't have lasted at Liverpool for this long. Yeah, he wouldn't have lasted at Man United for this long. Definitely wouldn't at Chelsea. Yeah, Man City wouldn't have lasted 5 years without a trophy.
He
no
wouldn't have
chance.
lasted at Tottenham League. Tottenham would have heard.
Yeah, look at the way they sack managers. And not only that, Man United have been an absolute clown club since Fergie left. Yeah, and I think this is their 9th final in 11 years. Yeah, that's nearly one every bloody year. Yeah, and they've been an absolute joke. Look how many managers they've had. I think pretty much every manager they've had has got them to a final. Ollie got them to a final. Jose, Van Gaal, Ten Hag, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now this geezer. The only one who didn't was David Moyes, but he weren't there for the whole season anyway. Yeah, it's an absolute joke, bro. Every single one of their managers, bar David Moyes and Ragnick.
12 years ago.
Yeah, Ragnick and David Moyes, yeah, are the only ones that ain't gone to a final, I think, since they've let Fergie, well, since Fergie retired. Yeah,
Neither
now
of them
look at
had a
us.
pussy.
And it's mad. Like, I know they ain't won them all, but they've got to them. We don't even get to them.
No.
Like
Failure.
we don't even get to them. It's always next year. But if we have this, but if we have that, but we didn't have that, and the refs this and the refs that. I say this all the time to people, like, the refs are crap for everyone. Yeah, so how's the ref stopping us missing a one-on-one? Yeah, Bournemouth. The excuse after we lost to Bournemouth, not yesterday, earlier in the season, well, they sent Saliba off. No, it's a disgrace. Look how far away he is. No, that weren't a red card. Okay, cool. Well, Saliba played yesterday, mate. Yeah, the excuse for losing to PSG in midweek, we didn't have Thomas Partey. Well, last time I checked, he was in midfield yesterday. Yeah, and they got a worse midfield than PSG, and he got fucking shut down real quick in that game. He barely got a kick. Let's be real. They just sat right on top of him and said, right, we'll just sort you out. Yeah, and then as soon as they got that first goal back, off a fucking throw-in, by the way, off a throw-in, we conceded more goals from set plays than any other club in the league. Sack that set piece coach. Yeah. Sack that set piece coach. We have conceded 38.7% of our goals this season from set pieces. Yeah, that's an absolute disgrace. Yeah, it's a disgrace. So it's all well and good zooming in the camera when we have a corner, or a free kick up the other end. How about do it and zoom it in on them when we can see the fucking goal down our end? How about that? Yeah, there's a mural of the geezer outside. We bought a dog and called it something he can't do. 2 days later, we gave Man City the title. They didn't even play, and we lost to Forest. Yeah, and he go, I like winning, guys. But I can't remember who it was that said it on the show yesterday. Yeah, the fact that he called it win, maybe it was you, Shane. Yeah, the fact that he called it, I can't remember who it was. The fact that he called it win, he never said win trophies. He just said win. That could have been anything. Could have been win a game of Scrabble, win the lottery. Yeah, that could have been anything, couldn't it? It's so dismissive. And the fact that we gave that title up to Man City, right? Then the excuse was, but Saliba was out. Well, Saliba played every single minute of every single game last season, and we still didn't beat Man City. Yeah, so what we're doing here, there's always an excuse. And then what happens is, I sit there doing these streams every day. Yeah, people come in the chat and go, oh, you're just reactionary. You're reactionary. Judge in May. See what happens. Don't do it yet. The players see all of this, blah, blah, blah. I hope Odegaard does see my videos. Maybe he'll fucking sort him out. Yeah, maybe it'll sort him out because he's a shit show. Now, not only that, right? When they sit there and they say, yeah, but, we've got to wait till the summer, we judge it the summer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. When we got knocked out the League Cup, I said, right, cool. So if we don't win anything, I'll come back to this at the end of the season, and then you're all going to hold him accountable for that then. Silence. Yeah. When we lost to Man United, you're going to go back and hold him accountable for that then because we ain't won nothing. Yeah. How about call it as it is when it happens and stop waiting for 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road when it's all been brushed under the carpet again. Yeah, then what will happen at the end of this season is going to wheel him out on the pitch, all them injured players, like Shane said, is going to do some mad dramatic speech. It'll be new kit day that day. Yeah, new kit day. Come and get your new kits. They'll be queuing up around the block. Yeah, for the new shirts. We'll probably lose again to Newcastle at home. Yeah, then we'll go and fucking, don't worry, guys. Transfer window, because this fan base will then spin it away to go, right, now the transfer window is going to open. Yeah, and forget everything that's just happened. Yeah, and this is what they do when they sit on panel shows or in the chat or when I see them on their shows and all of that. Yeah, they always take the very last season, as the metric, or the very last couple of games as the metric. Look at the Madrid game. Look how happy we were on the Madrid game. But ultimately, 2 days later, we were like, right, that's done. Yeah, now move on. Yeah, that's it. It's just another game of football. It's a quarter final. It ain't the final, mate. Yeah, but this got to go. They're going to hold that. Oh, yeah, but he beat Real Madrid. Motherfuckers, I've seen us beat Real Madrid before and get to a final. Yeah. I've seen us win league titles. I've seen us win FA Cups. I've seen us win in Europe. I've seen us do invincibles, doubles. I've seen us win the league at Spurs and White Hart Lane. Yeah, they started going crazy about we beat Madrid. Whoopee do. Yeah, Man City have got more wins in the Premier League this season than we have. And they went 1 in 13. 1 win in 13 they had, and they're 1 win ahead of. They've got 1 win more than us this season. and they're right on our
Their
coattails.
season's a disaster. He said their season's a disaster as well.
He also said even if they win the FA Cup, it ain't been a good season. Yeah, he said we're 1 million points behind Liverpool. He actually said 1 million points behind Liverpool. It ain't been a good season, even if we win the cup. Yeah, if we win the cup, fucking hell. Oh my God. Oh, what a manager. Get out of here, man. I've never seen anything like it, bro. There's so many managers out there that we could go and get. And then there's a geezer who, I'm going to shut up after this, yeah? Mares FC, My Ballers, Ivan Toney and all that. The manager there, and I said this on the show last night, so if I'm boring people, sorry. That guy was Bromby assistant manager, 2017 to 19. Yeah, then it was Salzburg B team manager. Sorry, Salzburg under 18s manager. Then he becomes Salzburg B team manager. Then they gave him the full gig. He had done a double first season. First time he's ever managed at full level, right, at the highest level. Then he got the league title again the following season. He got him to a Champions League quarter-final or knockout stage, first time ever in their history. Then the Saudis come knocking. First season, they just got promoted. First season, didn't win nothing. Yesterday, he's won the equivalent of the Champions League. Yeah, and he's just turned 37. And he started managing 2021. What fucking phase is he in? And all I got told yesterday was, oh yeah, but it's in Saudi. It's the Asia Cup. Cool. Where did we go and get Arsene fucking Wenger from, mate?
Exactly. Question here, DJ. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to get the Yeti in. Yeti's going to give us an unbiased opinion. Bollocks, he won't.
Yeah.
Victor 180 says, DJ, question to you. If Arteta eventually does get the sack, are you grateful to the level he's gotten us to competing on all fronts?
On all fronts. What have we just been saying?
I like the I like it where he says the levels he's gotten us on competing. Well, there's no point getting to levels if the man don't will learn by his mistakes, is there?
Yeah.
No point getting to levels if you're not going to win anything.
Mm.
Everyone competes. Every single team at the start of the season competes. You start with 0, and it's all about trophies. All clubs compete. All he's done is get us where we should be, Arsenal Football Club. He's just done a job where we should be. There's no good competing if he's still not able to learn by his mistakes, to change things in game management, to try something different, to try and bamboozle the opposition or the opposition's coach. I mean, I heard it. Oh yeah, he outclassed Ancelotti. Look at the managers he's been outclassed by this season. Potter, Areola, Moyes, De Silva. Bournemouth have done the double over Arsenal Football Club. Yeah, I was watching Bournemouth about 6, 7, 8 years ago, non-league. They've done the double over Arsenal Football Club, Bournemouth. Let it sink in a bit. So when you say competing, I'm okay to compete, providing you get us over the line and providing you don't keep making the same mistakes. He's out of his depth. He was out of his depth from day one. Okay, he's well out of his depth now. The pressure's on him, and now it's up to the owners to get their act together, pull him in, and say, "You're under pressure, young man. You deliver, or else." And that is the situation we should be in right now. That man should be feeling the pressure because he's ruining this football club. He really is. And I've got to say it. I've just got to say it, Jez, before you bring in the Yeti. I've said it all along as well. 30-40% of our football team is average. Mm-hmm. Most of these players are not good enough to play for this football club. I'd sell Martinelli. I'd sell Trossard. I'd sell Odegaard. The only players I would keep, and this is the truth, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, Partey a year's extension, and probably and
Skelly and Ethan.
Apart from that,
Skelly, the 2 young lads,
and Saka. Apart from that, and Skelly. Well, I wouldn't keep Skelly because I'd advise him to go to a better club where he can improve and become a better player. Because those 2 young players are not going to improve under this manager. And if I was his agent, I'd be moving them on. Look what he's doing to Wanyeri. What has Wanyeri done to this guy? Look at the way he's treating this young player. And I've said it. It's another Smith Rowe. It's another Emil Smith Rowe. round the corner.
I'm just going to do your super chats, guys. Got a few to do. Lawrence, big up Lawrence, man. Pays me to say this, but I hope we lose all our remaining games and miss out on Europe, because that will expose this clown for the fraud he really is. Thank you for your super chat, man. I hear you a lot on other channels, and I've been on channel with you. You do speak the facts, man. The level drop of Bihinio. Thank you, mate, for your super chat. The problem is people don't like the truth, and the truth always repeats itself whenever it never changed. And once you change the truth, it becomes a lie. Great point. Great point. Chachenya. It all went wrong in the transfer windows. That's why Berta is here to clean this up. We have half a squad that is unusable, and not trusted by Arteta. Mess. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for your super chat. Scott again. Big up, man. Arteta is setting up the next manager for failure. If he can't have success, no one can. He can't handle big personalities, etc. But hence, that's why he's scared of Berta. That is a very, very good point. Yeti, you've come in to give us your honest, unbiased,
to be smug
opinion.
There's nothing to be smug about, but yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, say what you got to say, bro.
I'm absolutely disgusted at certain fans, not you guys, nowhere near you guys, but there's so many fans in your fan base now that's Arteta FC, and I can understand people being Ferguson FC, I can understand people being Clough FC and all that kind of stuff, but Arteta FC over Arsenal is just disgusting, and no matter what he does wrong, none of them will call him out. None of them. Because obviously they're earning pennies over going with him and all this, that, and the other. That man is an absolute fucking clown. He's a clown. He has no idea. If you watch when things are going wrong, he's talking to people in the background. He's not actually making any difference. Look at what he did against PSG. Brings Ben White on when you're losing 1-0. I mean, what the hell is this guy doing? He has absolutely no clue. And another one I want to point out as well is, are you telling me that he's not seen Rice take free kicks like that, like what he did against Real Madrid? Yeah, he always puts Odegaard there, and Odegaard is absolutely useless. He makes out he's busy in the games. He doesn't do anything. He's just passing sideways, backwards. He did one through ball pass, and nobody knew what he was doing. So what are you doing on the tactical pitch? You know, he is an absolute clown, man. You've got to get rid of him. You've got to get rid of him. I know you want to get rid of him, but I'm just saying to like the other idiots that's out there, you know, that think that this guy's the next fucking coming and all this, that, and the other. This guy's only coming on Pornhub, let's face it.
Facts. Oh, well, I'm going to wrap it up because soon Lee's got to bounce and I've got things to do. And Shane's changed his shirt. There we go.
I took my jumper off.
Arron, mate, round it up, brother. Round it up and shout out what's coming up on your channel, bro.
Yeah, tomorrow at 9:30, I've got some of the lads on with me for my weekend hangover thing. Been a lit show the last few Mondays. Looking forward to that, as I do every single Monday. Yeah, man. To round it up, pretty much this is where we're going. Look, we've brought nothing but failure and failure and failure. And with Arteta, do you know all he's done is just made failing look the tiniest little bit prettier. That's all he's done. But it's still failure. That's all it is. Second is failure. Just looks a little bit prettier than third and a little bit prettier than fourth. But ultimately, it's failure. As Shane said earlier, and I always say, 19 competitions entered since the FA Cup, since he won that. 18 consecutive failures. And it will be 19 if we don't change that on Wednesday. And guess what? I don't mean to break everyone's heart here, all the top Gooners, but it will be 23 at the end of next season if this manager's in charge. And it will be 27 the next if he sees out his contract. 27 failures. Don't be surprised. We've been telling, well, Lee and the boys have definitely been telling you for years. I've been telling you almost every stream. It's going to happen. This manager ain't good enough. And the second you lot get on side and see where we're coming from, honestly, the better for this football club, because there's two common denominators in this failure. Arteta and top gooners, you lot. Not us that's watching this stream, but them top gooners. They're the common denominators in this failure. Until that changes, we'll just be scratching our arse and smelling our finger, wondering why we ain't won anything. But big up, Jez. Thank you very much for having me. World-class chat, as always, man. And as always, an excellent share of panel with my brother Shane, my brother DJB, my brother Lee, my brother Kenny, and, of course, my brother Yeti, man. Always a pleasure.
I've got... Just suddenly realised, Lee, I've got to ask you this question. You went to this game. Bodo Glimpse?
No, I didn't go. I ain't been to that.
You're on about Osterstons, I think, Jez.
Osterstund.
Oh, wait, I went to Bate Borisov.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking where that place is. That's in the Arctic Circle. Bodo.
It's a plastic pitch as well.
Jesus.
Hey.
I mean,
Sorry, Jez. I remember when you went Bate Borisov. You went with a couple of brothers who messed up their.
To be fair, it was one of them. Yeah, me and the other one. We wanted to do it a different way, and obviously, yeah, it cost me $1,000 in the end.
Yeah. Anyway, I got that one wrong. Apologies, but Shane, good debate. Good chat.
So sorry to cut in very quickly. Yeah, anybody who's got this Real Sociedad Bilbao game on, yeah, just go and have a look at the stadium tifo. Yeah, look at the stadium. That's how you do a tifo. There's about 1 billion people dancing on the pitch. I don't know what's that's all about. Okay. That's how you do a tifo. Yeah, everyone's mocking us, by the way, because they don't normally do tifos.
We see this.
But anyway, sorry.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. Always. Shane, my friend, channel's growing nicely. Shout yourself out, my friend. What you got coming up?
Yeah, 100%. And thanks again for having me on. Absolute pleasure. Got a few bits coming on, but I just wanted to land one point. I'll be very, very, very quick. It's something that I said on Lee's channel tonight, and a couple of the people here are here that I mentioned. It came up about the stadium being half empty. You know, they were clearing out against Bournemouth there yesterday. Everybody was clearing out. The fans were showing their support. And I think we know which side those fans are on, the ones that left early. And I turned around and I said, do you know who would have stayed till the end? Kenny would have stayed till the end, and DJB would have stayed till the end, and Potsy would have stayed till the end. The so-called negative fans would have stayed till the end. It was the rest of them that left to go get their chai lattes and their poppy seed bagels, man. They're the ones that left. The real fans are the ones that stayed because they love the club and not Mick Arteta. But I just wanted to get that out there. I'm very presumptuous there in assuming that Kenny and DJB stayed till the end, but I just imagine.
I'll stay to the end. I always stay at the end because it's.
There you go.
Me too.
I love
Yeah. Always.
So I was right. Yeah, and I didn't even need to know. I like I said, I just took a guess because I know they're real fans of Arteta FC. But yeah, listen, James, thanks for having me on. Thanks to the panel. Absolute legends. The chat's been unbelievable. And yeah, I've got the full Irish breakfast tomorrow morning. And then on Tuesday, I've been doing a decade series. I was doing Was Football Better back in the day, and I was doing from the 50s, 60s each time. And I finished that, so now I'm going to go through each World Cup. So it's the 1930 World Cup in Uruguay. I'll be covering that on Tuesday, midday. I have a couple of things coming up with some other YouTubers with views. I'll be doing a show with him and hopefully one with Arron. And I do the Monday show with Arron. Loads of stuff coming up, loads of other streams. This community's been unreal to me. Like you said, channel's growing quickly. Only a couple of months old. I've been on with Northside Lee, Arron, yourself, all the actual OGs, the people that when I first started doing it, I was like, imagine getting on with these guys. You know what I mean? So it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been welcomed with open arms. Chat's been amazing to me. People support me, and I've been blown away by it. But listen, this is one of the highlights of my journey so far, and I fully appreciate you, Jez. You're a gentleman.
Yeah,
no worries, brother. No worries. Kenny Ken, as always, legend.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. Well, now there's no sort of electricity outrages in Iberia. Hopefully we'll be doing that. Hopefully we'll be doing like the podcast tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Hopefully.
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
6 o'clock. Don't forget.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to doing that, and obviously, I need to get over the boxing that I kind of stayed up for in the last couple of days. If I can get those two sort of nights back when I was in and out of sleep trying to get the boxing, and I wish I could get them back because, oh God, those fights were so bad. I'm just waiting for the cricket season. Maybe that might excite me. But you guys don't like
Facts, man.
Yeah,
Facts. Lee, as always, you're going to be jumping back onto your watch along on your Lee Reacts channel, I believe.
Yep.
So I will.
Yeah, I'm going to be on there. That's kicking off. It always it's 9 o'clock now. It always kicks off late. They're doing some presentation. They're giving out. I don't know. The stadium looks amazing, by the way. I don't know what they're doing here, but it won't kick off for about another 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, then after that, I'm done. Then tomorrow, podcast. I don't know if there's footy tomorrow. Yeah, there'll probably be some football on. I'll do that. And
Forest Palace.
I don't want to watch that shit, mate. I can't lie.
Oh my days! He's gone there. He's gone there.
I'll watch Girona against Mallorca instead.
You asshole.
But no, all jokes aside, thanks for having me, Jez. Big up to the panel as always. Big up the chat. And yeah, man. All eyes are on Wednesday, mate.
We will be watching that. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll come to that anyway. DJB, thanks for joining, mate.
No, that's all right, mate. I was all out to try and get onto your stream. Jezza, as always, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the chat, taking your time out to watch and all your comments. Yeti, my bro Arron, all of yous. It's a real pleasure to be part of everyone. Hopefully I'll be on with Lee our 6 o'clock podcast. And then I'll be around the streams. I'll be on with my Arron as well. We'll be doing our Monday night, which I can't wait for. It's going to be lit tomorrow. So what can I say, guys? Thank you very, very much as always. It's going to be a long road ahead, I'm afraid. I can sense that we're going to be back here again next season. And I sense that we're going to be having the same conversation. I think now it's starting to turn towards the owners, not by funding, but as I said, they need to now start thinking about pulling this man to one side and putting the pressure on him. That's where it's at.
Very quickly, one answer question before we go. Lawrence asked, questions panel, do you think Raya is better than Ramsey?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, just
that bit. Although it has to be said, his kicking is getting absolutely atrocious. That's
the only better one is Souls, to be honest.
I said one word answer. You're fine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. As always, thank you, chat. It's been amazing. Nearly 1,000 people have watched this.
Don't I get to say bye?
Sorry, no, of course you do. You're in the forest. You're not. But go on, mate. Shout your channel out, brother.
Well, first thing I want to say is, because I didn't say it before, thank you for having me on, as always, because like the first time I came on here and started my channel was on your show. So I appreciate that. Big up to Arron. Big up to also Shane Gooner as well. Proper giving it some at the minute. DJ B on his way to starting his new channel. Big up to you, bro, over there. Lee Gunner, always, absolute respect. Kenny, 100% respect. So we've got like the Crystal Palace Forest one tomorrow, which I'm worried about. I'm not going to lie. I think they're on a bit of a thing at the minute, so I am worried about that. But big up to everyone. Yeti's Cave, go in there, talk it real, no bullshit. Big up.
Big up, yeah. Come on, Forest. You can do it. You can get over the line. Come on,
Forest. Come on, the Forest. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for joining. Everybody, thank you, chat. I'm going to have to create a few mods because I've lost a load and they don't seem to want to be here.
You made me a mod too. You must be desperate.
No, yeah, well, there you go. Hey, times are hard. But gentlemen, thank you as always. I'm going to do the outro, and We'll see you all soon. It's been a great chat. Love it. And we'll see you soon.
Roberto Di Matteo.